no New Zealand fan, no All Black fan can pretend for a second that we are the number one team in the world. Don't even start that debate, mate. Being a sports fan is about being miserable. That's what being a sports fan is. I can recount
horrible, horrible moments, single games. This is the issue with the All Blacks this year. They have 20 minutes or 30 minutes here, or the last 10 minutes there, or maybe from minute 11 to 24 here.
We've got to
play really well.
We
need to put something together.
DSPN is brought to you by Novus Glass, proud partner of the Special Olympics New Zealand. The Special Olympics New Zealand National Summer Games is in Christchurch, Ōtautahi, this December. Across New Zealand, Aotearoa athletes, clubs, volunteers and families are getting ready, training, supporting each other and celebrating as the flame of hope travels down the country. Text Novus to 3598 to support our athletes. That's Novus, Novus, to 3598 to support our incredible athletes at the Special Olympics in Christchurch, Ōtautahi this December. Notice it, Novus it.
Welcome to the DSPN.
Team New Zealand's in trouble.
Oh, he's done it again, Ricky Herbert.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Martin Devlin, Lachlan Waugh, the DSPN. Welcome to the podcast, people. We're going to deal with the Kiwis versus Samoa and the whole Pacific Nations Championship tomorrow. Sir Graham Lowe is going to join us. He reckons there should be another Origin series to go alongside Origin, and that involves Samoa, Tonga and us. He can explain all that tomorrow. Today we're going to concentrate on the rugby from the weekend. Tony Johnson joining us. A couple of different parts to Tony. All Blacks versus Scotland, looking back at that game. And then the Boks versus France. And what I believe has been the best performance of any international rugby side this year, the Springboks second half against France. So we'll do all of that. Need to tell you about Changing Sheds as well, which is our new subscription model here on the DSPN. Now, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button always. That does help us out. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers before Christmas. That's all the freebie stuff. That won't change. You get to see all of that every single day across Spotify video, Rover, Apple Podcasts, DSPN YouTube channel. If you hit the join button though, that means you're going to get exclusive access to Changing Sheds. And this is our new subscription model where you pay a couple of bucks a week. We'll show you a whole lot of behind the scenes footage, extra opinions, interviews and bits and pieces that only you will get. It's more that if you like us and you want to support us and you want us to keep going, keep doing this, it's just helping us out. $100 a year, couple of bucks a week, that's all it costs. If you can do that, I know times are tough and money's tough at the moment, but if you can do that to support us, we would be most grateful. Episode 1 went out last Friday, episode 2 coming this Friday. It's called Changing Sheds. The Boks are 2 scores better than us and everyone else in the world. I know. We just got to accept it at the moment. It's sermon time on the DSPN.
Marty Sermons, brought to you by WebWonks. Generate online leads with WebWonks. Doctors for your Google data.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
Lachlan has accused me of having a man thing about the Springboks. I won't say exactly what he said, but it involves anatomy. I think you can figure it out. The Boks are 2 scores better than us. Probably more than that. Probably 14 points better than us at the moment. The one big thing that we learned over the weekend, or I certainly did, as if we didn't know it already, the Springboks are the best rugby team in the world, clearly. Oh, I hate saying that out loud. I really do. No other team, including ours, would go to Paris, though, and do what they did to France. With 14 men for the whole of the second half, what a performance. Exceptional. The best 40 minutes of rugby any team has put out all year so far. Physically monstered them. That includes smashing us in Wellington. I think that second half in Paris was better than them. They were playing better than what we saw when they did the same to us in Wellington. They absolutely battered France to win that game. 3 tries to none, 19 points to 3, all with the man down. That second half was just exceptional. It's also the standard to which every rugby team in the world has to aspire. And look, we're not getting totally carried away by this. I'm just admiring that performance, given the circumstances, given what was at stake, and doing it with just 14 on the field. And yes, that was a red card. It was a red card all day to DeLuga. Don't even bother arguing about this. It was shoulder to the head. Read the rules. That's a red card. We must also remember the All Blacks are capable of beating this side. Witness Eden Park in August. When we had to win that game, we did, and we deserved to win that game. But when assessing where the top teams sit over what they've achieved and who they've played, it's them, South Africa, who are still streets ahead and hold the world number 1 spot. It hasn't been a perfect season for them, no. Like every other team in the top 6, they've also looked vulnerable at times. The big difference, though, between them and everyone else, in the matches that matter most, the games they've had to win, they've won those games strongly and convincingly. Australia, Cape Town, after the Ellis Park telling. They had to come back and win. All Blacks, Wellington, after losing the week before at Eden Park. If they'd come to New Zealand and lost both games, well, questions really would have been asked about, are they the best team in the world right now? And you probably have to say no. France, on the weekend, in Paris, a rematch of that still spiteful World Cup quarterfinal. In all 3 of those matches, South Africa have been at their most impressive. The hallmark of every great All Blacks side, as well you know, is when we've similarly faced real adversity, when the crown was in question, when, in fact, are we the team to beat, the must-win matches I'm talking about, then the best All Black sides win. Our backs to the wall thing. I love it when the All Blacks are hated by everyone, when no one expects us to win. Ireland quarterfinal in Paris, a classic example. Now, we may well finish the year with a record the same as South Africa's, 11 or 12 wins and just 2 losses. And we also beat them for the first time in 5 games. But no New Zealand fan, no All Black fan can pretend for a second that we are the number 1 team in the world. Don't even start that debate, mate. We've got to be honest about this. We and the best of the rest are chasing them. And if anyone thought France were the team that could, well, they were beaten up and they were well beaten. Fair play to the Springboks. As much as it hurts, as much as I don't want to say it, they are it. Our mission is to get back to being there. And I don't disbelieve we can do that. You know, I think we're on a good progress and a good trajectory at the moment, but they are 2 scores better than us. And before you think I'm being pessimistic about that, if the last time we played them is anything to go by, that's also acknowledging we are playing better than we did back then. When need I remind you, the score was 43-10.
Glass half full.
It's glass half full time, Lachlan, and this is where I present you teams, players, scenarios, situations from the sporting weekend. And you can tell me how you're feeling a day or 2 later, glass half full, glass half empty. Yes! We're going to be talking about the All Blacks, Damian McKenzie, the Springboks, Kiwi, Stacey Jones, the A-League Derby, Norris, F1, the Premier League title race and all of that. But we'll start with my soliloquy there on the Springboks, that they're 2 scores better than us, that they're the best rugby team in the world, that they can play like no one else can. You just go through what they did yesterday, right? Malcolm Marx played for, if he didn't come off after 80 minutes, I turned off just before the end of the game because I was sick by that stage at the fact that the box down to 14
Oh my
had
God,
pummeled
you
France
don't
like that.
sound sick at all. You sound pretty stoked that they won.
Well, I'm just...
You were going for them last week, you said.
I'm in admiration. I supported them because I thought I should do the Southern Hemisphere versus Northern Hemisphere thing, and it was only when they started winning in the second half that I thought, what am I doing?
If it wasn't the French, I might agree with you.
But your glass half full on this, that they are the best team in the world, with a rocket.
Yeah. I wouldn't say a rocket. A rocket suggests. I don't think the gap between them and say the second or third best team in the world, which I think at the moment would be,
is us. We're the
well,
second.
I don't know. I don't know if we beat France. Are we better than France?
Yes.
I don't know actually. No,
I think we are.
I'm not too sure. I think the gap between them and the next best is smaller than, say, the gap between the best version of the All Blacks of the 2010s and the second best at that time, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's it's such a difference that's so monumental in a rocket, as you say. But they are, without a doubt, the best team in the world. They, absolutely smacked us up in Wellington. They were obviously very good last year and did the double over us. Then they've now beaten France. Now, in being the devil's advocate, in defence of France, it is their first test of the year, or their season, rather. First test of their season. I think if it was their second or third, or they'd had a few under their belt, maybe they would look a little... Because they were in that contest until the last sort of 20 minutes, right? And the Springboks pulled away. That's down to conditioning, and I think, as I said on the live stream yesterday, just a little bit of polish around the edges. However, to answer your question, South Africa are without a doubt the best team in the world, and it hurts to say that, but they are. And they are what everyone is chasing, and they are the pinnacle. And they're the team to beat. Glass half full, glass half empty. Not just on... And the double world champions
whether or not that red card for DeLuga was right, which I believe it was, but just on the refereeing performances that we saw from Nick Berry and also Angus Gardner in both the Scotland All Blacks game and the Boks versus France. I thought referees were really good on both those. They kept the games flowing. Compare that to what we saw for Ireland versus the All Blacks, right, which was just a shambles of a game. And also glass half full, glass half empty on not only the refs, but those cards. The 3 yellows to us, the red to South Africa.
Yeah. All very fair. And the yellow to the French as well. That was the yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah, same thing. Well, he did what Satiti did. So.
Satiti did. I thought, it was a bit unfortunate that Ardie Savea was the one to get binned for doing something that he kind of had to do.
Well, pick a player.
But also, I don't know, can we make sure that we're in a situation where it's not our most important player on the field, or at least one of our 2 or 3 most important, that gets binned?
Surely one of the other guys would go, ref, it was me.
Yeah.
It wasn't Ardie. He doesn't. Ardie's never does nothing. That's just, it was, I did it.
Super Ardie. He can't do no wrong.
Give me the yellow card.
And I think from that point, they started to pile on a few points, didn't they? That was their first try, wasn't it, Scotland? So,
well,
point is,
yellow cards is no good.
I'd like to think that we'd find a way to make sure it's not Ardie. No, but all the cards were correct. I like Nick Berry and Angus Gardner. Is it a coincidence that both are Australian and they're probably the 2 best refs in the world?
Just World Rugby, here it is in front of you.
Pretty good
just
as well.
Pick the best ref to ref the game.
They're better than the Northern Hemisphere refs because obviously those ones, and it's not really their fault, but they have to rule with such an iron fist that everything is picked apart.
Glass half full, glass half empty. Damian McKenzie starting against England. I'm like you.
I don't know.
I'm empty on that. I want Damian McKenzie to come off the bench again.
That's where he's proving to be his best. And I've been a firm advocate for Damian McKenzie not being a starting first 5 at Test level. Then again, no, I'm going to stick by that. No, Damian McKenzie needs to come off the bench. I think if you're going to make a change at first 5, maybe not against England because...
You can't do it against England, mate.
I don't know, Ruben Love, maybe?
No, you cannot put him there. It would just
probably
be
not.
insanity.
I'm thinking out loud. He probably can't. So it's Beauden Barrett, who, buys... I would think that Beauden's probably the first to admit this. He hasn't been at his best the last few tests.
We'd still start him against England.
I think so.
I think McKenzie off the bench is providing exactly what we need for... I don't know if anyone else comes off the bench and does that. Beauden Barrett used to do that back in the middle 2000s. He was that guy. But Damian McKenzie's ability when everyone else is tired to just create
it's the
and
pace
make.
and the footwork. He's also got a great kicking game as well. Obviously.
He's also incredibly strong to put that ball down.
Yeah. Just determined as well.
Yeah. I thought he was.
Newfound respect for Damian McKenzie.
He was brilliant. Plus, also, I mean, I don't think it does him any harm. A couple of scrapes here and a bit of blood coming off there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Glass half full, glass half empty. The Pacific Rugby League
glass half full.
Wow.
I will say
how
this.
How cool that competition was over the last few weeks.
I'm being very nitpicky. I would love for that game to have been in New Zealand. You've got New Zealand versus Samoa. I think it makes sense to be in New Zealand, but hey, we don't make the rules and whatnot.
It was good that it was in Sydney and they got a packed house. It just shows the NRL. Guess what? And we're going to talk to Lowy about this tomorrow. But every sport is trying to create something new get another audience, get another angle to it, get another aspect to it, get another branch of what they're doing. Here you've got it.
This is an example of an audience you've already had for such a long time,
You've just had 3 or 4 weekends in New Zealand and Australia where the stadiums have been absolutely packed and Aussie teams haven't been playing. It's in front of you. Do something with it.
Yeah.
It's obvious that people want to go and watch these games.
Surely there's an international competition. Remember, they had the 4 nations for it used to be the Tri-Nations, then they tried to add a 4th team to it every now and then, and there was a mixture of France and Papua New Guinea as those teams. But surely there's a tournament similar to that where you have New Zealand, Australia, you have Samoa, you have Tonga, you have Fiji. Cook Islands are half decent. They've got some NRL players in there. You include England, bring France, South Africa will part, maybe not South Africa. 8 teams. Why don't you get them all involved in sort of like a mini tournament at the end of each season?
Every couple of years.
Every couple of years. And then have, I don't know, all of them playing against each other in test series type situations at the end of the NRL season.
Come on, this is it's a money maker sitting in front of you for a start, but also it's brilliant for the fans.
It's like women's rugby, international rugby. It's such a small, arena that you've all got to work together to make the game better.
Yeah.
There can't be any squabbling going on where Australia are going up to the UK and playing test series up there, and then the rest have to sort of stay down here in New Zealand and play Tonga and Samoa. Yeah.
But having said
band together.
Yeah, and the product is good enough. Glass half full, glass half empty. Stacey Jones is Kiwi coach.
Glass half full, much more full now than it was, say, a year or so ago. When did he get appointed? Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, last year.
I wasn't, and I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I felt that Wayne Bennett, and I think many would be in a similar situation, was better qualified for the job. And so when Stacey Jones got it, I wasn't the biggest fan. Nothing against Stacey, but I think he's proving his worth as the coach.
He is.
Because not only are they winning these games, but they are taking the contest physically and winning that arm wrestle against Samoa and Tonga, which is a big deal. If you can do that against them, you're a good side.
The side that he picked...
But wouldn't you want to see them now play Australia? Based on how they've performed the last few weeks.
That Kiwi forward pack is just a menace. And I just think that any coach, when your team is 14-0 down in a final, to be able to turn it around and score 30 unanswered points and dominate like we did in that second half against such a physical side that were fizzed and ready for it. And
that crowd was much more weighted towards the Samoans as well.
It was like an away game for us.
Yeah.
And just, and this is where it could be a coaching absolute disaster or coaching genius. He put 4 in with Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown played his best rugby league all year under Stacey Jones. I looked at that guy and thought, wow, that's why they paid the money for him. He's really good. I didn't think he was that good.
Well, it's also important to note, no Jerome Hughes. So the Kiwis didn't have him. So they've got him to come back into the team.
And Kieran Foran, who I never would have picked because I just would have thought, I thought maybe 10 minutes or something. He played the whole game. So, yeah, well done, Stace.
Did he play the whole series, pretty much?
Yeah, well done, Stace. Yes! Glass half full, glass half empty, the A-League derby. I love this occasion. I think it is absolutely brilliant. I fear for the Phoenix and I fear for where that club and that franchise is going now.
I want to say glass half empty because you're asking me a whole lot of questions here that I'm glass half full on.
Glass half full?
Well, yeah, but...
Well, you can say glass half empty. I think the A-League derby is excellent. The New Zealand derby.
I think so too. I'm just trying to think of a reason not to have enjoyed that occasion.
Okay, 12,000 people turning up, not a great crowd.
Well, no, that's good for the Phoenix. Do they crack 6?
No, they don't. But last year, I think they were closer to 20 for that.
Yeah, there was a novelty about it, and a fair few storylines had been created. There was that Auckland, that person who pitch invaded. Was it an All Whites game? Might have been a Phoenix game with an Auckland FC jersey on. That sort of at Eden Park that created exactly. But it created a little bit of juice, ahead of the fixtures. And so and Auckland FC obviously were there was a real groundswell of excitement around them last season, which has dialed down a bit now. I think 12,000 still. This is the A-League. It's a competition.
You imagine that in a 15,000 seat stadium rocking away.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Imagine if Auckland, obviously
Auckland were never going to get another stadium.
In a perfect world, imagine. Well, the way.
As soon as that guy, whoever came out and said, "Oh, the billionaires are going to take over the stadium," or something, the rest of everyone goes, "We hate people with money, and we hate the fact they're rich," and then there was never going to get.
That's the only way it would have worked is the fact that it was actually being privately funded, which a lot of these stadium projects aren't.
Western Springs will grow gorse for the next 10 years.
For 10 or 15,000 people in a stadium, it's a nice boutique style one. It's modern. It looks great. It's got great facilities, good pitch. That's exactly what these clubs need. Now, maybe not the Phoenix.
Caketon's too big for the Phoenix. It's way too big.
Well, it's not a football ground.
It's not a football ground. That's the thing. What ground is it again? Because it's not a cricket ground either. But another, good little marketing wink into the Phoenix from Auckland with their billboard after the game yesterday. You can't beat Wellington on a good day, that famous old song. Yes, you can. Last year, remember, they said, we took the W out of Wellington and brought it back. So
good.
I like a bit of niggle like that. I like this fixture. I think this fixture is good. But as I say, I do worry about the Phoenix, Lachlan, because, look, the crowds aren't there.
They lose money every year.
They lose money every year. They seem to me to be a franchise that is just going nowhere now. They're just making up the pack. And I fear that, if you're a parent with a kid in that academy and Auckland comes knocking, what are you going to do? Well, Auckland have got all the money. They've got the billionaires, all the backing.
That's the thing, they've got the money.
They got the dingers.
They are obviously in the biggest city in this country and in a competition that is largely, well, pretty much it's an Australian competition. The Phoenix had something going for them when they were the only New Zealand side, and they made the finals, I think it's like 5 of the last 7 years or something, so their record hasn't been too bad, and they've had a number of different coaches as well. Obviously now you've got Auckland FC who just got the minor premiers a year ago. Phoenix couldn't even make the top 6. Auckland FC's making money, they're getting players.
I fear for the Phoenix.
They're getting
I
fans.
Fear for the Phoenix. They need
to win.
Re-injection of
just
money.
Need to win. They just need to win. That solves all these issues.
Couple to go. Glass half full, glass half empty. My man, Lando Norris. See, no one wants Norris to win. Why is that? The F1 we're talking. He won again in Brazil.
We've talked about this quite a bit recently.
Conspiracy theory. Lachlan reckons that they've given Piastri a slower car.
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think there's a fair bit of value in this opinion that they got the Constructors' Championship. Because you look at the numbers and the telemetry and all this stuff, Piastri's car hasn't been as fast since they won the Constructors' Championship.
Liam Lawson's car wasn't as fast. Is it really? Okay. Do they really have one fast car? They're two identical cars.
No, they're not. There are contractual things at play when it comes to a number 1 and a number 2 driver, which I don't know if it was started by this, but it was massively inflamed and globalised by the whole Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello thing, where it was in Rubens' contract that you come second.
You come second. I mean, how How depressing and dispiriting is that?
Well,
and if you're not coming second, Schumacher's going to run you off the road anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So for McLaren this year going into the season, they said something along the lines of, we've got essentially 2 number 1 drivers. We'll decide who's leading the championship, who we're going to favour, blah, blah, blah. And Oscar Piastri had a far better start to the season. He was getting poles, he was getting wins, but he was getting podiums as well. He was finishing races. And then now the things was,
If you look at the last 6, 7, 8 races, though, I think Norris has made up something like 60 points on him or something.
Yeah, he has. I think Piastri, qualifying-wise, hasn't helped himself the last couple of Grand Prix. But Norris is getting pole, and then he's just got a lead of like 2 seconds after the first lap, and then he's just streaking away. He's not really being troubled.
That's what Verstappen used to do for years.
Well, I know, but he's not really being troubled at the front, which means he's either got a significantly faster car than he once did, or the chasing packs is a lot slower.
Are you enjoying the season?
No, I'm not now, because it's ending. No, it's ending. I was enjoying it, and now it's ending the way that Formula One seasons tend to go. Like, I haven't worded that well. The problem with the sport, it's a procession. If you get pole, you pretty much just win it. There's the odd season where you actually have a really good championship battle, like 2021 between Max and Lewis. Last year flirted with that. This year, again, kind of flirted with that. But
you wanted to go down to the last couple of races.
Well, exactly, and at this rate, it's not going to, because Norris is probably going to win another one.
Let's do one more. Yes! Glass half full, glass half empty. The English Premier League. We're ahead of you. As we go into the international break, you're behind Man United. How bad are you?
We won the league this year.
How bad are you?
No,
you're behind us on the table.
We won the league this year. We won. We've been to 3 Champions League finals in the last.
You're behind
6
us.
years.
We're shite.
7 years. We've won one of them. We've won a bunch of different cups here
Ruben
and there.
Amorim's team's ahead of you.
And we should still get into the top 4. Not a good performance this morning
we'll
against Man
City.
City.
We'll get into the top 4. Well, that's a come down, isn't it?
Not a good performance this morning against Man City.
No, you got dorked.
Yeah, it wasn't good. We haven't had a good start to the year, but look, a lot of time to go.
Sorry, I keep looking behind me. I'm going, where's Liverpool on the
6
table?
wins,
Oh, you're there.
5 losses. So we've got 11. So we've got 27 games left in the league season.
There is that.
So I'm not going to get. If it's 30 games have been played and we're on the outside looking in by more than 3 points, then I'm getting a bit nervous. Okay. Until then, I don't care. I do not care. We had a great win over Real Madrid in the Champions League during the week. Hopefully, we have a good run of that comp, because we lost in the round of 16 last season. But I'm not panicking. I'm fine. We won a league title. I'm fine for a couple of years. Yeah. So it's like, I've actually been very blessed this year.
Yeah, you have.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl.
No.
The Broncos won the Premiership. I never thought that was going to happen.
Paper
and then
fan.
Obviously Liverpool.
Pick all the winning teams.
We can do a separate segment to Glass Half Full, and I can rattle off all these moments in my short, granted, compared to your sporting life, and how
it's misery.
horrid.
It is misery. Being a sports fan is about being miserable. That's what being a sports fan is.
I can recount horrible moments, single games that just made my heart just break. Like I can remember just how Chip Kelly ruined the Eagles for a whole year, and Sam Bradford was our starting quarterback, and we traded Sean McCoy. There's a lot of Liverpool. Yes! A lot of dark Liverpool moments I can go through. The Broncos less so, but we did get the Warden Spurred in 2020.
Let's finish on glass half full, glass half empty. Are we beating England?
Yes, I think we are.
We are?
I actually really liked how we played against Scotland.
There you go.
I think there's a lot to build on. Again, but this is the issue with the All Blacks this year. They have 20 minutes or 30 minutes here, or the last 10 minutes there, or maybe from minute 11 to 24 here,
we
play really well. We
need
need to put something together. We need to do it before really the end of the year, because if you don't do it against England, it doesn't really matter if you do it against Wales, because Wales are significantly lower in quality.
I think this is our season-defining game.
This is like France in 2009. This has got to be the test where we actually
put it together.
Put it together, not just on the scoreboard, but in terms of the eye test. Because at the moment, there's another team in the world who are kind of streaking away, and we need to try and keep up with them.
Huge thank you to Novus Glass for sponsoring this episode of the DSPN and for being a proud partner of the Special Olympics New Zealand. This December, over 1,200 incredible athletes, along with hundreds of volunteers, coaches and other support staff, will be making their way to Christchurch or Tautahi for the Special Olympics New Zealand 2025 National Summer Games. Novus Glass is proud to be supporting something special, and you can help support the athletes too by texting Novus to 3598. That's Novus, Novus 3598. Thanks again, Novus Glass, for supporting us here on the DSPN. Windscreen, crack or chip, notice it, Novus it.
This is the DSPN.